Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a 3D artist. I've worked in the field for about 15 years. I'm not going to talk about 3D, kind of. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about mental health. A few years ago, I became quite poorly, and I opened up a bit too much online about what it was like with my condition. And that's what I want to talk about here today, is my condition, basically. And I'm not doing it for my benefit so much as I want others to understand that you can do it. If you've just been diagnosed with schizophrenia, you can do it. You're not immobile. There aren't limits. You can do whatever you want in your life. That's the truth of it. You can do it.
A truly original idea, and it's the only way I will ever distinguish myself. It's the only way I will ever matter.
He saw the world.
Where's Nash?
Out there, looking for his original idea.
Would push his mind
Get in.
What is wrong with you?
beyond its limits.
Somebody, help me!
John, open the door. Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
A beautiful mind.
Yeah, I was quite vocal online a couple of years ago about my mental health. I'd had a relapse, and it was quite a strong one. So I was struggling, coping with what I was going through. I was really struggling. It's not, schizophrenia is not easy. I mean, it's not. It's hell on earth. You're fighting demons every day. Bad divorce, and she become my boss at work. And I worked in a casino, and I was a chef, and she became my boss. Then the casino got bought out, and she became the hospitality manager, and I got made lower because they didn't need chefs anymore. They wanted ready meals. And I stayed because I still loved my ex-wife, and there was troubles with a boyfriend that, who she'd had the affair with, and it was a real hard time. I went to university, I studied hard, and came out with a glorious first. And one of my projects, I even got the highest mark, I believe, in the uni. It was 95%, and at first is 72, so 95 was pretty darn good. 95 or something. Might have been even more, it was amazing school. In 2006, I told people how bad it was and what happened, and some other instances at the casino, and I heard a voice in the radio talking to me. It was in a casino at the time, but I went home. Mum and Dad said, I was staying with them at the time. I was just split with another girlfriend, and Mum and Dad said to me, "Okay, let's get a doctor. We need a doctor. You're suffering bad." And the voices that I heard were very threatening. I felt they were live over the airwaves and threatening. So I was quite scared and basically petrified, frightened to death. The doctor saw me, and I was shaking like a leaf, hiding in the corner, that type of thing. And they said, "Have you ever had voices before?" And I said, "I used to hear my ex-wife after I split up with her. Sometimes I thought I was psychic or something, The doctor said it would never work, ever. You don't. In fact, I believe they said to my parents that you will never need to work again. The doctor said I had a psychotic episode and put me on olanzapine, my first antipsychotic medication. And I was drugged up to hell. Olanzapine, I was sleeping for 18 hours a day. And the rest of the time, I was barely awake. Mum would feed me in bed. I'd get up, I'd do 3D. I literally just get up and do my 3D, and that was it. It's the only thing to hold on to, and my parents. That was it. As far as I was concerned, the whole world hated me, and they were wrong. It was like a massive conspiracy or something. That's how it felt like. I don't remember most of everything. Was blurred back then, but I was on olanzapine, and sedated as hell. I was determined to work in the bloody games industry. I'd sold my home before uni. I'd done everything I could before being diagnosed. You know, I was that say I wanted it. You know, and but I was still unwell, and I'd fibbed to everyone that I was better, and I wasn't. After they gave me olanzapine, I was hearing voices all the time in the air and everything. So I got a job at Evolution Studios, the AAA studio, working on Motorstorm Pacific Rift and Motorstorm DLC, which, you know, just downloadable concept for the first one. It was really bad, you know. I was really ill, and I went to work, and I worked for a year. I was suffering like hell, and my friend said, "Have you ever thought about teaching? Because I know you're not very happy, you know." And I thought, "Oh my God!" I left, and I went to Blackpool and Fowle College to teach, teach 3D. It was actually really good fun. It was. I enjoyed it a lot more than, to be honest with you, Evolution Studios. It's a good studio, but it wasn't as expected working in a studio to be. It was more, here's your job, do it. Here's your job, do it. You know, almost like a factory, except with some skill. At that level, you're a junior. You're just getting the grunt work. You know. Before I was diagnosed, it was easy for me to. I was still shy, but it was easy for me to talk to people. I had nothing to hide. Suddenly I had this mental illness I had to hide everything from. People, schizophrenics kill people. That's what you hear in the news, you know? They're evil. And I was one of them now. It's like, oh my God, Satan himself, you know? I did teaching, and believe me, being a teacher and being shy and being a teacher is very hard. I found it quite, but I managed it. But in every class, I was hearing the voices of the students saying how crap I was and things like that beforehand, you know, things like that, you know, laughing about how terrible I was as a tutor. And I'd go in and do the class again. Oh, God, it was hard. That kind of thing. Basically, that was the issue, really. It was what I was hearing from me, you know. In the end, though, the reason why I left was I didn't have class management skills, you know, the kind of I didn't have the backbone, you know what I mean, to tell bad students to behave. You know, I'm pretty laid back kind of guy, you know. And I went and did a master's. I was doing some freelance work at the same time. Got some interesting stuff done. Did a master's, so I got distinction. Yeah, in fact, I handed in my dissertation a good month before it's supposed to. I was really informed with it. Looking back now, it's 10 years ago. I look back now and think, oh my God, that was so terrible. But it was good at the time, you know, for what I did. It was really good, you know.
Good money here. Secure, got prospects. You work hard, lad. A few years hard graft,
Oh, God.
you're set up for life.
Oh, it's so embarrassing. I've got it online. It's sameoldthing.com. That's that one. I still keep it online for the sentiment. Is it same old thing? Yeah, it is sameoldthing.com. And I wrote a book.
Yes, stay. The words spread through the mist of the dream, slicing it in two. Thomas spoke quickly. I was just trying to find my sock. The last the elevator interrupted. I was told by the old wise one. You will let us back to below. We were chosen to take the journey up. The bravest, cleverest, strongest, only they could climb. We built as we went up. We were foolish. We were tricked by herders. They came from below the Lotzins' empire. Shadows, darkness, yet some say they're watching from the beginning. Planning. Not so long for you. Still not afraid of the dark. She giggled and began to rock back and forth while stroking Teddy's hair. Big brave boy, not afraid of the dark. No, no, no. Big brave girl. No, no, no. And Turpentine said as the chief began his ascent, toward he seek knowledge, use it wisely. For all who believe in the time of the reckoning, be strong. For all who believe in hope, know this, that if we can reach the above and step foot in its soil, then we can accomplish lots of things. And from that day, lost the Athenian Empire was. Yes. I am just fishing, but you, sent an army for you. Please only came for my socks and socks. No, you're not a hero for socks. You're a hero? No, but you don't look like a hero. You're here to escape something. Seen a few, you know, always escaping. Never see me though. More than you think, from up there, escaping. Thou tried to speak, but words not uttered from thy stuttering mouth. Thou art a coward, coward. Hear me, I send an army, my best for this, and he wakes the Meloth, it behoves me, he still does not slumber. A great headache in my mind, because of thee. Close your eyes, Teddy. Caught only by the girl's voice. Big brave girl, not afraid of the dark. He repeated the words out loud. Not afraid.
Only about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, did I take a tablet that stopped me from being so tired. These tablets kill you. They do. They sedate you so much. I mean, it's insane. The tablet is almost as worse as the actual disease itself, the actual illness. Sometimes it can be. I mean, I've been on olanzapine. That just made me exceptionally tired all the time. And dopey. I'd lost. Man, I ain't gonna blow my own trumpet, but I'm only blowing my own trumpet because I have little confidence because of this illness, and that's why I want to do this talk. I have an IQ of roughly around 140, which is quite a high IQ for a normal average Joe. But olanzapine, I was a zombie. My mum looked after me. I was like a 12-year-old boy who just was led around. I was exhausted, all the time. After that, I went on risperidone. I can't remember the reason why I came off the medication. There was a reason, some kind of side effect that was just too much. It could have been something like literally just peeing myself or something. It could be as easy as that, really, because it can be that bad. Anyway, I don't remember most of the horrors back then, but there was a lot of them. My schizophrenia is like literally living in hell. You live in hell all the time. I know it may be cool to design a vampire, which is what I did recently, but I made a vampire because it fit my sentiment at the time that I lived through hell quite often. Without the illness, I would have a good life, but this illness, I'll talk more about what it's like day to day later, but it is hell through and through. through and through. Before the medication, I was quite focused, but also upset. Well, actually, I was focused, but but a little bit obsessive with things. But kind of, I'd used it in a good way. Whereas on the olanzapine, I've become even more, I think, but it's really sedated. Risperidone was the next tablet I went on, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly. And that made me like a puppy to my mum. I'd have to ring her up every 10 minutes to say, hey, well, I lived with her at the time, but I have to. Anyway, next tablet I went on was quetiapine. And it was the worst tablet I could be on. It made me hear voices 24 hours a day calling me the worst things you could hear. But yeah, it was 24 hours a day. And it often felt like if it started slowing down and stopping, I'd hear some kind of link or something in the news or something. I'd just make it shoot up again, you know. So for about 3 or 4 months, possibly that long, maybe 6 months, it was 24 hours a day. Except when I slept, I heard screams. The way schizophrenia can be is it often feels like people can read your mind. So I was not only hearing screams, any thought I had was twisted by it as well. So it really was. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I survived 6 months and never killed myself. It was maybe 4 months, but I never killed myself, and it was every waking moment. It was insane. Every waking moment. Anyway, I can't remember what tablet I went on next. I think I went back on the risperidone for a while because they had no other choice, but I don't think there's any other tablets in between. But then they suggested amisulpride. No, aripiprazole. I don't know if you've seen the film Kingsman. You know Kingsman?
Huge IQ, great performance at school, but you gave up. Drugs, petty crime, never had a job. It set you on a certain path, but you needn't stay on it.
Who are you? The man who got you released?
I see a young man with potential. Pull the hook on your left.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Kingsman material as any of them.
We're here to enhance your skills. Test you to the limit.
You need to solve problems under pressure. Like what to do when one of your group has no parachute.
And in Kingsman, I think he's got a guy called Harry or something, and it reminded me of that aripiprazole, you know. It reminded me of Harry Pip result. You see what I mean? That's what it kind of spell out. It's quite funny. It lived up to its name. Let's put it that way. It's like having 10 coffees. As soon as you woke up, you're like, "Hey, and you're awake. You're running around. You were ready for anything. I was losing weight. I was not happy. I was stressed as hell, but I was running around like, whoa, karate. I had all sorts of stuff, you know. I had my car on form all the time. I was just, even my therapist at the time said it just heightens everything about you, and it did. Anything you could think of, it heightens it. Just anything. Seriously, ooh, squirrel, you know, all the time. Honestly, you just everything.
Squirrel! Hi there.
And I guess it also heightened intrusive thoughts, things like that. So it was difficult. But I guess I used to always think that schizophrenia kind of heightened everything about you anyway. You know, if you were a decent man, you know, it would heighten that. And with me, yeah, it tried to persuade me otherwise, but I just fought it every day. It's not me, you know, it never has been. So, yeah, I tried. My illness is clever as hell. clever than me. My illness is very much a lot clever than me. Yeah, hiding everything about me out of Pipizol, and I think by the end of it, I'd even felt I'd become totally psychic. You know, with it. Honestly, I felt like I was projecting my thoughts, projecting my body. You know, being able to touch people from afar, all sorts of stuff I was experiencing. But I was still hearing a lot of voices from things. Anyway, so our Pipizol, I had to come off it in the end. Anyway, I can't remember the reason. But then I went on to a missile plan, which is the tablet I'm on now, and it's okay. You know, it's the side effects for me is shaking. You know, it can be very uncomfortable shaking if I'm not careful. So I'm just on the right level now to not shake so much while keeping me pretty much at bay, the illness. I did freelance for a bit. I did some music video production, some book covers, you know, some just medical stuff as well, things like that, just off all work and all that kind of stuff, friends. Then I got a job as a VR object artist and a character artist kind of thing at a company called Secret Sorcery. Made a game called Tethered in VR. It was quite good fun. For me, I was hearing a lot of troublesome things with my illness.
Wake up, Spirit Guardian. They need your help. Evil has consumed your lands. Your kindred spirits have been imprisoned in stone. Without them, these lands drift unguarded, ravaged by creatures of the night. You must free the Spirit Guardians and restore balance. But you cannot do this alone. The Peeps have shown resilience. They have endured much. And with evil and darkness closing around them, you must not leave them to this fate. Give them hope. Give them purpose. And through their industry, you can free the entombed Spirit Guardians and heal these lands.
Again, I hear stuff from everybody. That's the problem. Only very rarely will I hear it from mum and dad, but I'm my therapist. But pretty much everyone else in the whole world, I will hear things with. So consequently, I can't go for a walk outside without hearing some kind of abuse. And the truth of it is, it always seems to be fitting for the personality of that person rather than schizophrenia. So consequently, I can't really go anywhere without hearing abuse. Like, I gotta tell you, when I was young, I was never bullied. I never had any bullying problems when I was a kid. I had a fairly decent upbringing. It was only, you know, it seems to be the ex-wife problem. The divorce really set me off on that chain of events to this mental illness. But yeah, I'm nearly in tears, and I'm very happy if I can get to my local supermarket, do a shop, and come home without hearing a single bit of abuse. Yeah. But consequently, it means there is nobody in the world. I feel like I am legend, you know, the zombie thing with Will Smith.
Nothing happened the way it was supposed to happen. I'm a survivor living in New York City. Midway through the G's. God didn't do this. We did.
My mum and dad live in France, so I never see them, especially with COVID. So consequently, I'm alone, except for my therapist, really, and 2 cats. I don't know what to say about that. It's just that's the way it is. I have nobody, so and I can't even walk outside without basically being abused at least once or twice. Even if people are trying to be helpful, they're not being. I don't know. I've heard, I think that's him. You've got rights, or you are schizophrenic. Things like that. And you think, if that was real, saying I'm schizophrenic, and I am anyway, but saying I'm schizophrenic kind of ruins the idea of me being schizophrenic, because by saying it, you're proving it's you that's the problem, not the schizophrenia. It's the abuse, if it's real. For example, if somebody says you've got rights, how do you know I'm worried about my rights? Unless I haven't got rights. If you're real, I'm correct. If you're not real, if it's just all my imagination, fair dues. As I say, my illness, that scene in Alien 3, where she says she doesn't remember anything else but this alien in all her life now. That's me, My life is this. It's working and having a normal life, relatively, and the illness. Who would I be without it? I have no idea. If I hear voices one day, I'll walk around the park or something, hear some people say something nasty. I'll get home, maybe ring my mum, tell her what happened. Why do I tell her? Because I have nobody else to talk to. And my illness bullies me as well in my own home. I will live in my own home too. So I go to the park, I hear voices and people saying bad stuff. I get home, I'll hear it from media, Spotify, YouTube, news. It either seems dubbed or, to me it feels like it's dubbed or live. And there's an appearance of reality to this. It's not just a mental health problem, but the mental health problem is a vast problem with it. Given what I've experienced just this year and last, it makes me really consider that maybe that first radio message at the casino was real, and I was put on heavy antipsychotic medication. That's what the appearance seems to be, from my perspective. I do ponder that in my fear and my worries at university, from my fears from the casino, that I wound up basically calling a monster.
Okay, are you ready? There we go.
How does the story begin?
Was the boy too old to me a kid.
You're coming to live with me. Don't touch anything.
What did he do?
He called from monster.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed. I know everything about you. The truth that you hide.
By God, you break them. I wish I had 100 years. 100 years I could give to you.
It hasn't really left me alone since, to be honest with you. He makes me feel ashamed every day for things like going to the toilet. It's like being in a very abusive relationship. I mean, if you look at all the signs of emotional abuse, it nails them. You know, that's I have all the symptoms of being emotionally abused every single day. As well as that, I have all the symptoms of, well, I know I have been through a couple of years ago, especially psychological torture with how bad the illness was, if an illness. If it's not, I hope there's some kind of justice one day. Okay, so yeah. Let's put it this way. It's as simple as just the other day on my art station, these are just physical things. On my art station, I noticed my thumbnail for my newest character, Jinx, had changed to be a full spread, so you can see it. Because it's quite a thin character, it's a full thing, you can't see it. So the thumbnail wasn't enticing anymore, and my numbers had dropped. So I changed it back, and the numbers grew again a little bit, just a little bit. But it's had its time, you know. And then that's just one small thing, but who changed the thumbnail? I get home from work. Now I have cameras in the house, but I get home from work and there's some kind of substance on my kettle handle. And I'm not sure if I've been Novichoked or whether it's something even human. Who got in my house, you know? Or another time when I was just learning to drive about 8 years ago, and the nuts had been loosened on one side of the car the day I wanted to go on the motorway, and I noticed the car rattling with my parents in the car. If I hadn't noticed, we were 2 minutes from the motorway. If I hadn't noticed, we would have died, no doubt. It happens a lot to me, these things. It's been pretty quiet this year. I mean, I want to go bungee jumping, you know, nothing much is happening. It's not a week goes by without trauma. And looking at it, I think, how? If this is real, I'm either so insane it's unbelievable, or I've woke up sometimes. Well, I don't want to get naked, but I have white marks on my body. I'll put up some pictures that look like injection marks, like chick-pox, no, like injection marks. I don't know why. Is someone trying to help me? Is someone trying to sedate me? Is someone trying to keep me schizophrenic or not schizophrenic? Is someone trying to give me my medication? I just don't know. I don't know. All I know is the voices I hear that are beginning to seem to be a little bit more, given they seem to know when my cats have eaten in another room, things like that. I'm beginning to suspect them more real than not. I feel like I was in some kind of trouble in a casino to begin with. I called a monster. I've had them ever since. That's it, they haven't gone away. I've had it the whole day. About 2 weeks ago, I had a whole day without hearing any abuse from anybody about me. Then a neighbour walked up the stairs and said something. I thought, oh, it's nearly the whole day, you know. So close. It's like, oh, we'll just make up a rumour to say about you. Say it to you about you all the time. And I've got to tell you, when you hear stuff about yourself all the time, for years, you start wondering if it's true. And you find out from other people, no, it's not. It's like, oh, thank God. Other people have to tell you how good you've been. I can't see how I'm ever going to find female companion, a relationship, even more friends. So that hierarchy of needs are all screwed up, you know. I get barely anyone ever liking me on dating. I'm on dating sites because I'm a lonely dude. Hardly anyone ever liking me. I have barely any friends. I have a couple. I do feel like the guy in I Am Legend. I need some dummies around that I can talk to. Well, at least I've got cats now. I've never been able to shake off my monsters. That's the bottom line. If I have to go shopping, I'll get... I put earphones in. That's how I cope with the schizophrenia. Or whatever it is. So I don't have to hear anyone. But sometimes they look at me in the eye and seem to say something. So I have to look down at something so I don't catch it. So if I catch it, it's in my head. You're thick, you're this, you're that. I have to just take steps to make sure my psyche remains relatively okay. It's hard. Like everybody is everybody hates me. That's what it feels like. I know I have schizophrenia, but the schizophrenia is because I feel now with therapy, with a lot of therapy, it's because of the other elements that are real and are scary. That's what it seems to be. The bottom line there is, whether schizophrenia or not, to begin with, I've lived with being abused, coerced, manipulated, screamed at, tortured. Real torture, not the, oh, you torture me. No, I mean, real psychological torture, you know, full on. I've been through it all. Whether real or not, I went through it. With a hallucination or reality, I still went through it. I do really worry that I'm 42. I've spent 15 years fighting this monster. When's it ever going to end? Am I ever going to get my own life? Or is my life this? Is my whole life this? But I tell you, I look at it and I think, yeah, I achieved a lot. But I still can't go outside to the shop without hearing abuse. A fine example of my illness was a few weeks ago. I was walking around the park again, and I go to the park a lot. I quite love it, and it's a beautiful park, by the way. And there was a group of people, and a lady looked at me. I'm a single guy. A lady looked at me, and she was looking down. She looked at me, and she kind of glanced twice. It was quite lovely because I'm not in shape. I'm overweight right now. The tablets don't help. They really make you gain weight. Oh, on my olanzapine, I gained 3 stone, I think, in about 4 months or something. I was 9 stone. I went up to 13. Oh, 4 stone. 4 stone. Yeah. Walking around the park, this girl looks at me, and very beautiful lady. She's a very beautiful lady, and she looked at me twice over, and it's like, wow, you know. She had been really, really nice. So, oh my god, it's him. Oh my god, it's him. I couldn't tell which one it was, but it was quite good. So I got home from the park, and I was feeling really good about myself because this woman had looked at me, and I wanted to get the weights on. I wanted to do, and then I started hearing through my YouTube. I was listening to Sky News or something at the time. I started hearing through my YouTube, "You fat, you fat, you ugly, fat." You know, not ugly, just you fat. You really fat. And I didn't want to do any weights anymore. I didn't want to do anything. So I didn't work out that night because I felt ugly and fat. And then I'll have a few days when the artwork I've done is done well. Jinx, my last one, skyrocketed an art station for a few days. I felt so good. Popularity, you know, feeling like, oh my god, I've achieved something. People like that piece of work. Don't let the world stop you. You get one life. Depending on how religious you are, you get one life, you know. Don't squander it and don't waste it. Okay? Don't. Get up. Whatever it is, however bad it is, you can do what you want to do in your life. Words on Bathroom Walls. It's a good film. Guy's called Adam, like me.
Honey, it's so good.
Yeah?
Have a good day.
Me too.
When you're finished with the questions, please pass them forward and
Calm down, son. Calm down.
And that's when we found out. I have schizophrenia, a chronic mental disorder allowing for visual and auditory hallucinations. Never normal. The end. Some people just hear voices.
Good morning.
But I see mine.
More awesome. I'm working for you, but you believe in me.
I had to switch schools.
Where's your straitjacket, freak?
My mom is on this quest for a cure, but nothing works.
Just give it time. This looks like it could be nice.
I'm Maya.
I'm Adam.
I came over here to intimidate you, but something tells me you're harmless. If you need anything, let me know.
For the first time in forever, I felt normal.
What's with the cookbooks?
I'm sort of studying to be a chef.
Sort of? Where are you? What? Don't look at me. Look at her. Do you have a problem with eye contact?
Do you always say exactly what comes in your mind?
Well, it's best to say exactly what you mean or nothing at all. Unrelenting honesty, you know? You know, when I first met you, I thought maybe he's just awkward and unsocialized, but that's not it. There's something else.
I don't know what to say to that.
I'll crack you, Petroselli.
Last night, when you finally called me.
I know that you must be scared and that it's lonely in your head.
And I know that you like your space.
Adam, hey, stop!
I'm sorry. When you're a cancer kid, people are so eager to grant any wish you have. But when you have schizophrenia, people treat you differently.
Is that why you didn't tell me?
because you thought that I was gonna leave?
You see him, right?
Yeah, he's real.
Everyone's flawed, but admitting our flaws gives us the opportunity to face them.
I'm always gonna see things and hear things that I shouldn't. I can't put you through that.
What makes you think you get to make that decision on your own? You didn't give me a chance to stay.
What'd you have?
I love you.
You have to let people discover all your dark places inside. Because those are the people that can show you what's real.
He's back!
When you can't see that for yourself.
Hey, I'm right here.
I heard in the news the other day, I was trying to find the clip, I wanted to share it, but I heard in the news the other day that there was a schizophrenic terrorist that blew up a building or something, or killed some people. On Sky News. Schizophrenic terrorist. The schizophrenia came first, before the terrorism. You know, it's the worst bit was schizophrenia. Even before terrorism, you know? That's how bad schizophrenia is, you know? It's insane. That's really bad. Even before the terrorism, there was schizophrenia. I had devised a plan of getting a squirrel army together. I've got squirrels around here. Train them up and go eat Boris Johnson. But I don't think it was going to work, really. It was a joke, you know? Because I had squirrels.
Squirrel! Hi there.
I've done pretty well. Just getting on my artwork, you know? Anyway, yeah, so I worked in quite a few studios. I think I've worked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think I've done 10 games or so, something like that. 9 or 10 games. I think about 10. I just love what I do for a living. I love art. I love making 3D modeling. I adore it. It's kept me going through a hell of a lot with this illness. My main aim in my life right now is to get more successful as an artist. So people think, hey, he's an awesome artist. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I love that. I've always wanted to be a successful artist. Just started a new job, and that's quite a good one. My mum might be able to come soon, if COVID allows it. I want to be able to walk outside and not be afraid of other people. I want to be able to wake up and spend the whole day without being abused. That's what I want. I want to be well.